Hey! In the previous video, we talked about why using a blockchain indexer is good and showed how to set and run the TZKT indexer in just a few commands using a Docker. However, there are times when you may need a more complex system configuration. For example, you don't need to run an API but only an indexer, or you want to have a database server on a dedicated machine, and Docker will be a bottleneck. Therefore, in this video, we will show an advanced installation by building each component of the indexer individually from sources. As we described in the previous video, TZKT is an advanced Tezos blockchain indexer with built-in performant API. Currently, it is one of the most reliable and stable open source indexer in Tezos. You can find a link to the GitHub in the repository below. We'll be grateful for you to put a star if you like it. So, now let's see how to easily set up your own instance of TZKT indexer and API within just 15 minutes building each component from sources. First, install Git. Next, let's install .NET SDK from the Microsoft repository. We need .NET SDK version 3.1. Next, we need to install PostgreSQL. You can try to use an older version of Postgres, but in that case, you won't be able to restore the database from the snapshot. You will have to synchronize the indexer from the very beginning. Great! When all dependencies are installed, we are ready to install TZKT. First, we need to create and prepare the database, which TZKT will use to store and access indexed data. Let's create TZKT database, create database user, and grant all privileges on the database to the created user. It's done. Now let's download a fresh database snapshot. We can skip that step and run full synchronization from Genesis, but indexing the whole blockchain takes a long time. Next, restore database from the snapshot. For mainnet, it takes around 10 minutes. Great, we are ready to build TZKT. Clone TZKT repository. To build the indexer, move to TZKT sync directory and run .NET publish specifying the output directory. To configure the indexer, edit the configuration file app settings.json in the output directory. What you need is to specify connection string default connection. In our case, just specify that our database server is on the localhost. And now we are ready to run the indexer. As you can see, our indexer is working now and blocks are synchronized starting from the last blocks in the snapshot. The database is already available and you can use it directly to access the blockchain data. If you want to use TZKT API to access the data rather than working with the database directly, you need to build the API service. To build the API service, move to TZKT API directory and run .NET publish, specifying the output directory. To configure the API service, edit the configuration file app settings.json in the output directory. What you need is to specify connection strings default connection, a connection string for the database created before. And we are ready to run the API service. Just check if everything is fine. That's it. Now you have your own TZKT indexer with API for interaction. Refer to TZKT GitHub page for a complete guide and instructions on how to run the indexer for the test networks. Feel free to contact us via Telegram, Twitter or Slack if you have any questions. The Baking Bad team wishes you the best of luck. Goodbye.